And hello, welcome to Solo Playthroughs. We are going back to Jagged Earth. We got 6 more to go, which simultaneously feels like impossible because I feel like I've been playing Jagged Earth for a year now, and I haven't, obviously. But also seems like it's pretty crazy that we've already been through 6. Now, we have done all 3 of the very high complexity spirits. We have done 2 high complexity spirits, and now we get back to my love of this game. Again, I love all of this game, but I really do like the moderate complexity spirits. I just find that the most enjoyable experience for me, although obviously I am more intellectually engaged in some ways by the very high complexity spirits. This is a very shifting memory of ages is a very fun example of, again, the moderate spirits. Moderate spirits include Fangs, they include Keeper, the Forbidden Wilds, they include who else is moderate? I don't know. They're just click with me more. Stone's Unyielding Defiance was the first Jagged Earth spirit I got on the channel. That was moderate. Really liked his mechanics. Shifting Memory took me a few games, like all of them do, but just has clicked with me in a way that I really like what he brings to the table. He matches up really well against all of the adversaries except for Sweden. I think Sweden, I have not been managed to beat Sweden on level 4 yet. I have beaten the other 6 adversaries. No, sorry, 5 of the other 6. I actually only played against Russia once. Here's how I'm going to work these last 6 spirits. So I'm going to throw all of the adversaries together. Remember, we have gone through, since Jagged Earth came out, we went through Habsburg, Russia, and Scotland twice each. With the last 6 spirits, I have decided to not put Russia in the pool of adversaries. And the reason why is that I think Russia gives the most chance of having a playthrough that just doesn't fully encapsulate everything the spirit has to offer. I think that happened a little bit with Vengeance, not as much with Downpour, but definitely with Vengeance, where I feel like the game of let's move the invaders around that you have to play with Russia does make this game feel the most different compared to all the other adversaries, which just seem like variants of the same theme. Russia feels like this is expansion that kind of brings you into this whole other game within a game. Sometimes it's fun. I don't love it the most. Russia is probably my least favorite adversary to go against, or definitely is my least favorite adversary to go against. I'm glad I own it. I will obviously play it again in the future. But for the next 6 spirits, while I'm getting each of these spirits on the channel for the first time each, I'm going to stick with the other 6 adversaries, and we will randomize who I'm up against every time. For those who have not seen my post, or I forget where I posted or said it in another video, I have randomized the rest of the spirits so you know what's coming up. Shroud will be the next to last spirit. I'm sure that disappoints some of you. It is what it is. I just decided to keep it fully random. I'm going to end with Volcano, which I think is a nice metaphor. And then obviously we still have Lore. We still have so many other really strong ones. I'm trying to, off the top of my head, we have Lore. We have, I don't know. Grinning Trickster is next. And then there's one more, which I'm forgetting off the top of my head. And I'm sure their agent will send me a nastily worded letter. So, Shifting Memory of Ages, Storytime with Greg, an immensely old spirit that has ascended to great power countless times over the ages, and then destroyed that power each time, severing huge pieces of itself to become small once again. It does this in part for the joy of learning anew, but also for the delight of perceiving the living world on the short timescales that larger spirits grow beyond. The invader's arrival has pushed it to grow much more quickly than it usually would, relearning lessons and powers from its deep past in order to fight more effectively. After the fight is won, there will be time to forget, to diminish, and renew itself once more. So there's a little bit of like a Starlight Seeks Its Form aspect of Shifting Memory, that he comes in and his starting powers are kind of garbage. But he goes, whereas Starlight Seeks Its Form, you have this idea of ramping up to this unique individual spirit that you've created. Shifting Memory, the mechanics of Shifting Memory do a good job of encapsulating this idea that this spirit is an ancient extraordinarily powerful spirit. And it's just kind of waking up, and you go right into the way I play it. At least I pick a major power my first turn almost every time, and it's just the way that the spirit works for me, and I think it's the most effective way to play it. Obviously, always open to really cool strategy discussions in the chat about other ideas and other openings. Again, I'm not one of those guys that goes on the BGG boards and looks out, oh, this is the right opening for this spirit. I kind of like to figure it out and figure out my own way of playing as I go, and that's cool, and that's each his own. Like I know that those guide books or guide the playthrough, the suggested openings can be really helpful for a ton of people out there, and that's awesome. And I really appreciate the people in the Spirit Island community that take the time to write those, because I think it's really important for those to be out there. But for me, I just kind of figure out this is what kind of works, and for me, generally, I'm going to take a major power that first turn. All right. Setup, you're going to put 2 presents on the starting board in the highest numbered land, that is sands or mountain, and you also start with 3 prepped elements. So you see this little pile of rocks, effervescent rocks that Shifting Memory of Ages is holding here. Like, that's supposed to represent, again, he gathers elements and then he can use them to access his powers. So they're single use things. So I won't be using my normal, remember I usually use dice over here to kind of keep track of how many elements I have. These really change that. So you'll be using a lot of these little elements as you go. And the elements that you want to take and the elements you can prep every turn will depend on, again, what major powers you get, and we'll get more into that. Again, playstyle starts with little ability to influence the board. That is absolutely true. Most of what it does in that regard will come from new power cards, and you can become a late game powerhouse. That is also true, and if you can survive long enough to get there. The problem with Sweden is that double blight mechanic of Sweden makes that a special sort of challenge for Shifting Memory, because you're just getting 2 blight out a time in a way that often will lead to utter demise. The other adversaries, again, are much better matchups. But if I roll this die and I end up with Sweden, we'll be doing a Sweden, and we'll see how it goes. All right. Complexity moderate, summary of powers. You'll see they're all fairly low on this track. Defense and utility is higher, and that defense is driven in large part by one of the innate powers he has, but it notes here can change radically and quickly with early major powers, which we will get to. All right, so let me do moment of truth on 2 levels here. We're going to roll for our board. I rolled a 1, so we are on board A. And we're rolling for the adversary. Again, how do I usually work this? All right, the back will be 1. The back will be 1. The front will be 6. I rolled a 4. We have Scotland, the Kingdom of Scotland. That is fine with me. All right, what did we do last game? Last game was Russia. That's right, because it was I had been just on the board. The last live playthrough was Finder versus Scotland. Cool. So I'll start shuffling us some decks, and we can go from there. So the idea of prepping an element is again a new thing that that is unique to Shifting Memory, right? So again, it's one of the things that you get these elements. They're single use. There is an aspect. One of his starting cards is that you can prep the elements, and you basically can give them to one of the other spirits in play in a non-solo game. So obviously in a solo game, one of his minor power cards is one of his unique power cards just isn't that useful, except for the fact that one of the things that makes Shifting Memory really strong is that when you get a major power card, you don't have to forget another power. You can instead choose a discard. So that card that isn't that useful in a solo game, well, now all of a sudden becomes the card that you will just discard simply, instead of having to forget a power, right? And that becomes really, really handy as the game goes on. All right, so special rules. Already said that when you would forget a power card from your hand, you may instead discard it. Max once per action, right? Which is fine. And what is an action? Anytime you do an entirety of one of these growth things, that's a growth action, growth action, growth action, growth action, right? So this growth action, if I get a major power and instead I choose to discard a card instead of forgetting a power card, that would count as that max once per action. All right. Insights into the world. I mean, I guess there are other things that would allow you. one of the spirits. Like, I guess if you were playing with Starlight and you had the ability to get 2 major powers in a turn, you could only discard 1. So I would assume there'd be other things that would trigger you to get more than 1 major power in a turn. Normally, that max isn't really going to come into play. So insights into the world's nature is the other special rule. Some of your actions let you prepare element markers, which are kept here until used. Choose the elements freely. Each element marker you have grants 1 of that element, and that is just pretty much, that's pretty intuitive. You know, if you know about the elements, then these markers, again, they're pretty intuitive in their use. The innate powers will start at the bottom, then we'll go up to the growth options and into the presence track. The 1 innate power is Learn the Invader's Tactics. It is a fast power, range 1. You have to target a land with invaders, which makes sense because you want to, there'd be no reason to not target a land with invaders that I can see. If you have 2 earth, you get to defend 2. If you have 1 sky and 3 earth, I'm sorry, 1 sky and 2 earth, you can instead defend 3 in a land with invaders. And if you have 2 moons, 3 sky and 4 earth, you can instead defend 2 per card in the invader discard pile. Fairly hard to unlock with that 4 earth and like the 2 and a 3, but if you can get there, it can work out fairly well. And then finally, Observe the Ever-Changing World. It's a fast power, range 1. You have to target any land. So you just have to have presence on the board, obviously. But if you don't have presence on the board, then you're dead. So it is what it is. So basically, you get to prepare. If you have 1 moon, you get to prepare 1 element marker. If you have 2 moons and 1 sky, instead, after each of the next 3 actions that change which pieces are in target land, you get to prepare 1 element marker. You can stack the markers you intend to take here, so you just can kind of keep track as you go. And just a little note to kind of keep game flow. Normally, I'm not going to be paying attention to that second part of it. I'm usually, I'll get the 1 moon and I'll just prepare 1 element, because how many times are you targeting the same land multiple times in the same round? Doesn't normally happen. All right. Growth options. So option 1 is reclaim cards, add a presence in a place where you already have presence, self-explanatory. The next one is gain a power card, add a presence within 2 of where you have presence. Growth option 3 is add a presence within 1 of where you have presence and get 2 energy. And option number 4, which makes getting major power cards early much more doable, is gain 9 energy. Yeah, so that will do the trick for most major powers. Yeah, and by most I mean all, plus a little bit. So that's a nice little gain energy thing to have. I will normally be hovering between options B and C, and then after I reclaim, then we'll look at that gain 9 energy and see if we have a really big hand that we can put together with a couple of majors, that the 9 energy becomes especially useful. The presence track is 0, 1, 2, 3, prepare 1 element marker, 4, reclaim a card, 5, 6, plus prepare an element marker. The card plays are 1, 2, 2. You can discard 2 element markers to get an additional card play, and then 3. The way I play Shifting Memory will probably go up to that 4, where that reclaim 1, and then start trying to get to that 3rd card play. But again, with using majors and unlocking your innates or your defense innate, 2 card plays will go a very long way with Shifting Memory. All right, so I'm going to put 2 presence on the board in land number 7. Again, it's going to be the highest numbered sands or mountain, and it's like no other restrictions with that, right? Yep. Highest number sands or mountain, that's it. Because I was looking at there's 2 Dahan on there, and I was just wanted to make sure it wasn't like highest numbered without Dahan. No, it's highest number sands or mountains. We get 2 there. Land number 7 also has 2 Dahan. Land number 8 is going to have a town. Land number 4 has a blight. Land number 2 is going to have 2 cities, because again we're playing against Scotland. Land number 2 is also going to have a disease. Land number 1 is going to have a beast. And then we also need 3 more Dahan. 1, 2, 4 more Dahan. Woo, look at that. All right, so that's fine. I'm going to shuffle up the fear cards. Level 4 Scotland has a 5/5/4 setup. All right, so we'll take 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, 4. We have Terra level 3 divider on top of the last 4, 5 cards, Terra level 2 divider, 5 cards, and that is our fear deck. Event cards, no changes to that. since we are playing on Scotland, I will put some reminders next to lands 1, 2, and 3 to remind me of the special rules related to the coastal lands. And I can go ahead and fill up my track. Cool. I'm going to have to set the invader deck. So the invader deck is a little weird. So it's Scotland has some special rules. So we've gone through it a couple of times. So I'm going to kind of breeze through this a little bit. We're going to roll that. So I take out card number 1. I'm going to roll again. Number 2, I'm going to put there. This is the bottom of the deck, are these 4 stage 3 cards. We're now going to go to the level 2 invader cards, or the stage 2 invader cards. I take out the coastal lands card because that goes in a very specific spot. I am now not going to flip the wetlands upside down. That may be a little bit too much information. I'm going to roll this. It is a 4, so that's out. And now I'm going to roll it again, and I rolled a 6, so that'll be 5, 6. That's going to go there. And I'm going to put the coastal lands card on top of that. All right. And then we have a level 3 card on top of that, the last 2 level 2 cards, and then we're going to take out 2 of the level 1 cards. And we have a bit of a, again, a little bit of a pressure situation, kind of rushing into the higher level cards here. All right. So only 2 level 1 cards on top. So our final thing, now this is all kind of listed out in the level 4 escalator. So it's 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, coastal lands card, 2, 3, 3, 3, 3. Again, the only other thing we put on the board is we had to put in another city on land number 2. And the other things to know is whenever the invaders will explore into lands 1, instead of adding a explorer, not counting the explorer's place during setup, instead of adding explorer, you will add a town. And additionally, there's a little bit of England to Scotland, and that every time there would be a build in a coastal land, if there's no invader there, but there is an adjacent city, the build action would still happen, right? So you want to try to get cities away from the coastal lands as quickly as possible, which is hard to do when you have 2 that start right on land number 2 to begin the game, right? So it is what it is. There'll be more builds in coastal lands than we want. That is for sure. That's it. I think the board looks good. We've shuffled everything. Who's excited? I'm excited. Let's get this old Beetle thing. Let's get him rocking and rolling, because it is time for him to deal with these crazy Scots taking over the island. All right. Oh, Blighted Island card. That'd be helpful. I'm going to just kind of mix these up a little bit, and then we're rolling our 20-sided die. And the D20 says 17. There's only 16 of them, so that's a hard sell. We got number 3. So 1, 2, 3 goes on top. We'll put 2 Blight on that. And that is our Healthy Island card. So the final step of setup, you all know what it is. We're going to do the initial explore. It's into wetlands. And we're going to put 1 explorer there, 1 explorer there. All right, let's see how this goes. So my first turn, I'm going to do something crazy, and I'm going to get a major power card. So I'm going to look at the top 4. I get trees, radiate celestial brilliance. I can target a, interesting. I can target a jungle or a land without blight. It does not have to be a jungle without blight. So I can either target a jungle with blight or any land without blight or a jungle without blight, right? 3 fear, defense 6. This turn, invaders in target land skip the next build action. That's pretty bananas. If I have 3 sun, 2 moon, and 2 plant, I get 1 damage per sun that I have. That's a really strong card. That's going to be hard to pass up. That is for sure. I don't know if I'll be able to unlock that that damage part of it, but that's a really nice card. All right, cast down the Briny Deep. It is a, again, slow power, coastal land, 6 fear, destroy all invaders, but it costs 9 energy to play. Grant hatred a ravenous form for each strife or blight in a target land, 1 fear and 2 damage. If this destroys all invaders in the target land, we get to add a beast. And if we have 4 moons and 2 fire, we add a strife and up to 3 adjacent lands. Finally, volcanic eruption. It does 6 fear, 20 damage, destroy all Dahan, destroy all beast, add a blight. If you have 4 and 3, destroy all invaders, add a wild in each adjacent land, 10 damage, and add a blight. That's way too much blight. That's not going to work. Cast Down the Mighty Deep is just, it's so expensive. I'm not that excited about it. Although it can be really strong. I mean, I can get the 9, right? Take me a few turns to set up. Man, it's such a strong card. It's a really, really strong card. I think I'll have other ways to deal with land 2. I mean, this is really tempting. The problem is, again, I need to take a place 1 away. So I'm at least 3 turns away from being able to do that. And then I have to wonder what the heck I'm doing in the interim. And it also feels a little bit like a cheat code. It's such a good card, though. Trees Radiate Celestial Brilliance. I do like the idea of that. You know, being able to prevent a build is nice. The extra damage is nice. That's fine. And then grant hate your in his form. I think I'm going to go... I mean, Cast Down the Mighty Deep is so tempting. And by the way, I've never unlocked that thing where you just destroy the entire board. Never done it. I know I've seen some epic stories. Being a true solo player, obviously, that is not going for sacrificial victory is not something I'm trying to do. I think it's a more interesting game if I go with Trees Radiate Celestial Radiance or Trees Radiate Celestial Brilliance. So I'm gonna go with that. Now I got a major power, so I need to forget a card. Oh, I don't. Special rule says I just need to discard a card. I'm going to discard Elemental Teachings, which is a good time for me to go through my starting powers. So, Shifting Memory starting powers. Elemental Teachings. You get to prepare 1 element marker, discard up to 3 element markers. Target spirit gains those elements, right? Not as helpful in a true solo game because you have the elements anyway, so you don't need to discard them to get them. You just have them. If you are targeting yourself, right? So that's not the most useful card, so I'm happy to discard that when I gain a major power. Other cards, Share Secrets of Survival. Fast power, 1 away from where you have a sacred place. Each time a Dahan will be destroyed in target land, destroy 2 fewer Dahan, or gather up to 2 Dahan, or if you have if you have 3 Sky, you may do both. That's a really helpful card with Shifting Memory. Boon of Ancient Memories. If you target yourself, gain a minor power. If you target another spirit, gain a major power. And then finally, Study the Invader's Fears. You have to target a land that you have presence that also has a city or town. 2 fear, turn the top card of the feared deck face up. So the nice thing about having a major power that only costs 3 is that I have some ideas about what I want to do next turn that I think will be really helpful. So I'm going to go, again, Cast Down a Mighty Deep. I might regret not taking that. Again, I think this will be a more interesting game. So I'm going to add a presence. Again, because I'm doing growth option 2. I already gained my power card. Now I have to add a presence within 2 where I have presence. I'm going to add a presence into land number 4. And then I'm going to get the 1 energy from there, and I'm going to play that on Boon of Ancient Memories, and that will just help give me another card in my hand this turn. Invaders, that was all of the spirit phase. Now we go to the invader phase. First thing invaders do is an event card. Again, Jagged Earth rules. The event card just flips over, and that's all she wrote. We do not carry out any of that card. I'm going to put the Scarlet card down a little bit so we can all see it there. All right, good. Now we're going to go to earn fear cards. Obviously, I have none. We do the invader actions. The invaders are building in land 2. And they are building in land 6. So, I'm sorry, not land 6. They're building a city in land 8. Now, remember, the additional loss condition for Scotland, if they ever have a city in all 3, in a solo game, in all 3 of the coastal lands, they automatically win. So we have to be aware of that, which is another reason why I Cast Down the Mighty Deep could have been really helpful. All right, so we did the build step. We go to the explore step. The invaders are exploring into mountains. This mountain is coastal, so it gets a town. This mountain is not coastal, so it just gets an explorer. Invader cards advance. My turn. I just played Boon of Ancient Memories. I'm going to use that to get a minor power. Now, if I was targeting somebody else, I can get a major, and it's really cool because that person, they also have the option to not have to forget a power. They instead could pay 2 energy. But since I'm targeting myself, it has to be a minor power. All right, so my options are here. We have Renewing Boon, which is this. It's more for a cooperative game. It's pretty useless true solo. Sucking Ooze, 2 fear if invaders are present. Isolate target land, could be useful, I guess, but you have to target a sands or a wetlands. Rights of lands rejection. Invaders do not build in target land this turn. 1 fear per town or 1 fear per Dahan, whichever is less. Hard to pull off, but an interesting card nonetheless. And finally, Blood Draws Predators. After the next time invaders are destroyed in target land, add a beast, then 1 damage per beast. Max 3 damage. Yeah. Don't love it. Definitely don't love it. Push up to 3 done. Blah, blah, blah. All right, I'm going to take Rights of Lands Rejection, and we'll see how that works out for me. All right, so I have this card. That's all of the slow power phase. We now go to growth. What am I doing in growth? Oh, one thing I forgot is a fast power. I could have prepared an element. My general go-to, again, I'll look at what the major power was. Because I got that as a major power, my general go-to would be get a mountains. But I already took that card at the time I played this card, which unlocked, again, this innate. Knowing what this card is, I will actually take a sun, because suns can really trigger some damage ability from trees, radiate celestial brilliance. All right, so now we are in growth. I am going to do growth option 3. I'm adding a presence, 1 away from where I have presence, so I'm going to add it here, or within 1 away where I have presence. I'm going to add a presence where I already have presence, make a sacred place in land 4. I'm going to get 2 energy, and then the present track gives me 1 energy. Now I unlock the second card play, so I'm going to play Trees Radiate Celestial Brilliance, and I'm going to play Share Secrets of Survival with all of my energy. All right, what have I unlocked? Well, let's see. I am going to look at the innates. This moon allows me to, oh, that's interesting. So that moon's going to allow me to do Observe the Ever-Changing World, which allows me to prepare an element. So I will prepare another sun. No, I will prepare a plant. I can actually get a pretty big turn here, I think. So I'm going to get a plant from that. And then I'm going to look at Learn the Invader's Tactics. I'm going to spend this earth. So I have 1 sky and 1 earth, and I'm going to spend this earth from this. Again, I started with an earth that was prepped, and that's going to give me the 2nd level of Learn the Invader's Tactics, which allows me to do a Defend 3 on the board, 1 away from where I have presence, targeting a land with invaders. So I'm going to defend 3 in land number 2. I mean, not 2, in land number 3. It's like 2, it's just 1 more. Cool. I am going to, then I have 2, these are both fast. I'm going to target a land 1 away from where I have a sacred place. I'm going to gather up to 2 Dahan. So I gather 2 Dahan into land number 8. And then I'm going to play Trees Radiate Celestial Brilliance. I'm going to get 3 fear. I'm targeting this jungle. So again, it doesn't have blight and it's a jungle, so it works on both scores. It's going to give me 6 damage or 6 defense. And looking at the elements I have 2 suns. I'm going to spend this for a 3rd sun. I'm going to spend this for a 2nd moon. I'm going to spend this for a 2nd plant. I get to do 1 damage per sun. I have 1, 2, 3 suns. And that's going to allow me to, again, because when you use an element, it grants that element for the entirety of a single action. So this is, again, I'm using it for this action. So the entirety of this action, I can play as if I have 3 suns, which I do, because again, the 2 there plus the 1 that was prepped, and I get to do 3 damage in land number 8. So I get destroyed this city, which gives me 2 more fear, and that earns me my first fear card. All right, so that's quite a turn for me. During Ravage, this is defended 3, that's defended 6. I can pretty much wipe out a lot of things and then kind of work my way back into these mountains. And then obviously these 2 cities waiting there for me in the wetlands. I did burn through 3 elements. So, oh yeah, I burned through 4 elements though. So, I mean, there was definitely a high cost for that, but I think kind of clearing out the side of the board, or at least given the opportunity, we'll see if the event cards cooperate. I think that would go really well for me. All right, so we're going to go to, that was the growth phase. We go to the invader phase. Again, if we're still healthy, we go to the event. Stages 1 or 2, we're still in stage 2. On each board with exactly 1 coastal city, add a town to a coastal land without cities. So I have 2 coastal cities, so that actually doesn't apply. Great. Stricken. In lands with disease or strife, invaders skip ravage actions. Neither of these have disease or strife, so we're good there. And settlers encroach too far. Choose a land with both towns and Dahan. Push 1 town per 2 Dahan there. That I don't want to do. Yeah, that's not great. That's definitely not great. So I'm going to push this town. So I have to push 1 per 2. So I'm choosing 1 land. I'm going to choose land 3 because I really want to clear out all the towns from land 8. And I don't want to put a town on land 6. And I definitely don't want to put that town back on land 7. So I'm going to push this, and I'm going to push that away from 3 into 2. So again, you have to do as much as you can. I have a land that has a town and a Dahan, and it has a town and 2 Dahan, so I am forced to push those towns, which obviously was not what I wanted, but it's fine. It's just making 2 a mess. 2 is already a mess. We're good. Earn fear card. Each player removes an explorer from a coastal land. There's only 1 explorer in a coastal land, so basically this defend 3 did nothing, and that's fine. And then we go to the invader steps. Ravaging 3, defended 6. The Dahan are going to fight back. That generates a fear, and land 8 is now cleared. We're going to go to the building. We're building a city in land 1. We're building a town in land 2. And then we are exploring into mountains. All right. So escalation, port sprawl outward. So this is the escalation. We do that immediately. On a single board with the most coastal towns or cities, add a town to N lands with the fewest towns. So N is the number of players. There is obviously only 1 player. So I will add this to any of the 5 lands that don't have a town. I will add it to land 4 because I don't want to mess with fate and put that into land 3. All right, remember the additional loss condition for Scotland. And now we have to do the explore step. The explore step goes forward. We have to put a town in land 1, because remember, when you successfully explore coastal lands against Scotland, they put a town, not an explorer. And then we have an explorer in land 6. No slow powers. Wow. So yeah, that took a turn that I don't love. Definitely took a turn I don't love. I'm tempted to reclaim cards here, but then I'm only going to have 2 energy. 2 energy is not a lot of energy. If I push, defend. So they're ravaging 4 in land 6, which isn't great. I won't reclaim cards, but I'm definitely going to want to be able to use Trees Radiate Celestial Brilliance next turn. Problem is I can't use it on a land that has Blight, and 1's going to have Blight for sure. For sure. I'm going to gain another power. Yeah, I'm going to gain a major, and I probably will forget a power this card this time. So the options I have here are Fire and Flood. Ooh, that's nice. So it costs 7. It does, yeah, it's really nice. These are actually both really good cards. So Fire and Flood, it's 7 energy. It has a sun, a fire, and a water tag. 4 damage and 2 different target lands, 1 away. So you have to choose a place where you have a sacred place, and you could target 1 away from that sacred place and 2 away from that sacred place, and do 4 damage at each target land. In addition, if you have 3 fires, you get to do +4 damage in one of those 2 target lands, and if you have 3 wetlands or 3 water tags, you can do 4 damage in either target land as well. So it's actually a fairly strong card. Spill Bitterness into the earth. You can do 6 damage. You add 2. This is like a stone special. You 6 damage. You can add 2 badlands, 1 strife, and a blight, and up to 3 adjacent lands with blight. Add 1 badland and 1 strife. If you have 3 fire and 3 waters, and up to 3 adjacent lands, 1 damage to each invader. 6 is transform to a murderous darkness. This is definitely a shifting Memory of Ages card. It's pretty intense. Target spirit may choose one of their sacred places in that land. Replace each of their presence with badlands. The replaced presence leaves the game. Push any number of those badlands 3 damage, 3 free fear and 3 damage per presence replaced. So push any number of badlands. Yeah. So you'd have to do. You're targeting one of those lands. You can do so if I targeted this land and I turn this into 2 badlands, I can push the badlands and then do 6 damage in this land. It's an interesting mechanic. If you have the 3 moon, 2 fire, and 2 sky, you get to do 1 damage in an adjacent land and then 1 damage in an adjacent land again. So it's an interesting card. I don't totally love it with the current setup of my board right now. And then finally, you have Savage Transformation. 2 fear, replace 1 explorer with a beast. If you have 2 sky and 3 animals, replace an additional explorer with a beast in either target or adjacent land. Not going to be that helpful against Scotland. I think Fire and Flood is just the most logical card for me to take. Since I'm taking that, I will forget Elemental Teachings, and that's fine. So I chose to forget a card instead of passing a card off. I guess I could. I want to play this card this turn, which is why I did that, right? So I'm going to add a presence to the board because I'm doing growth option 2. I can add a presence within 2 of where I have presence. I'll add a presence into land 2. Because why not? Then I'm going to get 2 energy from the presence track, and I'm going to play Rite of Land's Rejection and Study the Invader's Fears. Study the Invader's Fears. I have to target land where I have presence that has a city or a town, so I can target either 2 or 4. I'll target 4. I get 2 fear. That generates a fear card, and then I get to turn over the top card of the fear deck. It says defend 3 in all coastal lands. Could come in handy next turn. That's fine. Yeah, the 5 fear cards in the top level of a game against level 4 Scotland can be. It feels like a lot. You're like, wow, I gotta get through 5 so much. I have to get through so much fear just to get to that next level. And then finally, Rite of Land's Rejection. I get to target a land 2 away from my ever sacred place that has Dahan. I'm going to push these Dahan here. Now, so I get to push up to 3. I'm not going to do the invaders do not build in target land. I'm hoping all those things are going to go away. And how am I going to make them go away? Well, I'm going to, I have a moon. So I'm going to prepare 1 element marker. And I'm going to prepare a earth. And then I'm going to immediately use that earth to get the 1 sky and the 2 earth to defend 3 in a land with invaders. So I'm going to defend 3 in land 6. Now note, again, I have the elements to do the second level of Observe the Ever-Changing World. There's just not much. It's just a lot more to kind of keep track of it. A lot more min-maxy for me. So again, I don't know how often you're going to be, targeting the same land enough to, instead of just, okay, I have a moon, great, give me an element, great, now I have a defend, right? But there's a chance I'm missing something there. So we go to that growth phase is over. We go to the spirit phase. We're still healthy. We go to the event card. Event card is this. Be a good one, please. For the rest of this turn, after an action destroys 1 or more cities or towns, add a town in an adjacent land. If there are no adjacent lands due to isolate, don't add anything. Ugh, that's not great. All right, I'll just put this reminder here, and then that's fine. We go to the token event, virulence, I think, among close packed homes on each board. Add a disease to the inland land with the most cities or towns, minimum 1. That is going to be land 6. And then offerings of story and season, each spirit with at least 3 Dahan among its lands. That is not me. If it was me, I could gain an energy and reclaim a card. Fear caught. There is 1. Each town destroys an explorer in its land. Great. Whatever. That was a scapegoats, not the most useful. And now we go to the invader steps. Ravaging, we can do it in any order. I'm going to ravage in land 6. I'm defended 3. They're attacking 3. Great. Everything there is defeated when the Dahan fight back. And now we're going to ravage in land 1. It's attacking with a 7. Bam. 1 blight. Great. This is why Scotland's the worst, and Sweden's the worst, and Scotland, not that bad sometimes. Now we are building. So we're only going to build in land 1. It's going to get a city. So we're looking at a blight and cascade there, almost guaranteed next turn. And then we're going to explore. Where are we exploring? Into, well, first we have to do the Kingdom of Scotland escalator. Kingdom of Scotland escalator is on the board with the single most coastal cities or towns. We have to add a town to the land with the fewest towns. I'm going to actually add this into land 3. Remember, if it builds there next turn, I'm in trouble. I just don't want to keep pushing this inland, and they're going to ravage in 6 next turn. Which, no. I know, pretty sure I can wipe out 1. I can wipe out 1 town there next turn. I'm not sure I'm going to be able to wipe out 2. But if I put it there, remember, it's going to have, now we'll have a source for 8. If I put it, no, I'm going to put it here, and then we're exploring with another one. So obviously I need to take care of that before it builds. Otherwise, additional loss condition triggers, and we're toast my ghost. Oh. Shoot. After this, for the rest of the turn, after an action destroys 1 or more, so I destroy that action, that Dahan fight back counts as part of the ravage action. So since a town was destroyed, I have to add 1 town to an adjacent land, and I'm going to keep everything coastal. It's a mess anyway. That's fine. So we're putting another town there, and now we will. We have successfully done all the rules that I almost forgot. Great, cool. This goes here. I'm reclaiming cards. We are now putting we have to put a presence where on a land where I already have presence. I'm going to put another presence in 2. And now I have to figure out how the heck I'm dealing with those guys, because that's a big problemo. Well, I got a couple ways to deal with it. I could play Right of Land Rejection. Oh, and I'm going to take the presence from the top track, not the bottom. So that gives me 3 energy, and I get to prep an element. So Right of Land Rejection will prevent the build there, right? I'm only going to be playing 2 cards. I can't use Trees Radiate Celestial Brilliance there anyway because it has Blight. I can use it to target land number 2, however. Alright, I'm going to play Right of Land Rejection because I kind of have to. And I'm going to play Trees Radiate Celestial Brilliance. And that gives me this and this. Now I'm going to have the first level of... Yeah, I'm not going to have... We'll have this defend 6. I could have them skip the... I could have them skip the build anyway. So Right of Land Rejection might not be the most productive thing I can do here. I'm not getting to level 2. Definitely not getting to level 2. That's 3 fear. This gives me 2 fear. You know what? Right of Land Rejection is actually going to be just as effective this turn as trees radiate celestial brilliance. So I'll do that. I will do I might go big next turn and get 9 energy and get fire and flood out there. That could be pretty big. Probably going Blade of the Island. That gives me the Fen 3. Alright, well, we'll see what this Blade of the Island card is. Alright, so I'm going to spend the 1 for that. Now again, I get an element from the first level of Observe the Ever-Changing World. I'm going to take a Sky. And I'm going to get an element for the Presence track. So prepare 1 element marker. I'm going to take probably playing those 2 cards next turn. I will take a Fire. I'm going to play these 2 Skies to give me the 2nd level of Share Secrets of Survival. So as a fast power, I'm going to gather up to 2, 1 away from wherever sacred place. I'm gathering 2 here, and then when the first time Dahan will be destroyed, in target land, destroy 2 fewer Dahan. So I'm going to save their lives. Lives, not lives, I guess. Lives. All right, now right of land rejection. Invaders are not built in target land. Target land has to be within 2 of wherever sacred place, and target land has to have Dahan. So land 3, obviously, invaders will not build there. I'm going to put reminder tokens here, and then 1 fear per city or town, or 1 fear per Dahan, whichever is less. There's two towns, and there's 2 Dahan, so that's just 2 fear total. Fine. We are now going to go to so that was the growth phase. We now go to the invader phase. Still healthy. Event called Healthy Island. The next explore step matches all lands without cities and towns instead of the printed land type, and ignore the escalator. Well, there is no escalator because it's land 3. We'll see how that works out. That could be to our benefit, maybe. All right, Grim Toll on each land. Choose a land with disease. In that land, 2 damage to invaders and 2 damage to Dahan. So that's going to be land 2. So I'm going to destroy that town, and I'm going to destroy this Dahan. That generates a fear, so I get my first fear card here, which is not going to be that useful. Probably would have been more useful next turn. That's fine. And tell the old, Tell the old stories. Each spirit with at least 2 Dahan among its lands. That is not me. If I did, I could do something else awesome. Fine. We are ravaging in land 1. Yeah, so it's ravaging 7 million, otherwise known as 3, 6, 10. I'm going to add a blight. That blight's going to cascade, so I flip this over. Blight of the Island card is 4 blight for a player. So I'm going to have this run into land 5. Immediately on each board, add a town and a city to an inland land with no towns or cities. Oh, that's not good. That's really bad. I'm going to add it to 6. Wow. I already cascaded 1, so there's only 3 blight there. Such a bad one. Promising farmlands. I really don't like this one. That's fine. I'm really second guessing not taking casting out to the Bonnie Deep right now. And that's the ravage is done. We're building, except we're not building here, and there's nothing to build there. So I can remove these because I did that. Oh, and then these, these 2 Dahan were destroyed. They're going to retaliate and destroy that city. So that's 2 fear. And then 1, we'll say this town is injured. I had a fear card too. It was just a Fen 3 in all coastal lands. Obviously not that helpful. We did the build action. Now we do the explore. Remember, the explorer is going to be weird. So the explorer card will not match the wetlands, and it will not match sands. So it matches all lands without towns or cities instead of the printed land type. Ignore any escalator. So it now will match this. It will match jungle, but the jungle has a town and city. Both mountains have a town or a city. So the only jungle it's really matching is going to be 8. And because it's not a coastal land, it actually gets an explorer instead of a town. So could have been way worse for sure. For sure. All right, that's there. These move. And we will go back to growth. What's ravaging? That's ravaging. That's ravaging 1. Don't really care about that. So, what do we care about? I'm going to play I'm going to do growth option 4. I'm going to get 9 energy. So that's there. Additionally, I'm going to get 3 energy from the presence track, and I get to prepare an element. So I'm going to play Trees Radiate Celestial Brilliance and Fire and Flood. I'm going to be able to prep 2 elements, 1 because of the presence track and 1 because observe the ever-changing world. The elements I want are I'm going to want a fire. And the next element I want is, doesn't really matter that much. I will take a water just to have. All right, I'm going to put these over here because I'm going to use that when I use that power, which is good. And now we can go through the fast fire. So I'm not unlocking Learning Invader's Tactics. It's fine. I'm going to use Trees Radiate Celestial Brilliance. I'm going to target this jungle. It also doesn't have Blight, so I can get for both scores. I get 3 fear, so that gives me a remainder of 1, and I'm defending 6 in land number 3. This turn, invaders target land, skip the next build action. I don't care. I just want them to be destroyed by these Dahan. So Trees Radiate Celestial Brilliance is done. And yeah, the rest of this is fine. So that is the growth step. We go to the invader step. The invaders are going to Blighted Island. There's no continuing effect. We go to the event card. Event card, now we Blighted Island. On each board with invaders, add 1 blight to a land with at least 2 blight, but do not cascade. That's awful. Festering Pits of Blight. Yeah, that looks like a festering pit of blight to me. Now we do Lingering Plagues. On each board, add 1 disease. Ignore disease during builds this phase. That's not cool. We're ignoring disease during builds, so that's going to build, and that's going to build. Put this out here. Yikes. Then 1 fear per land. So fierce men, 1 fear per land with invaders where Dahan outnumber cities and towns. That is 0 fear. We're going to get our first fear card, terror level 1. During the next normal build, skip the lowest numbered land matching the invader card on each board. So we're going to skip land number 2, and I'll just put a reminder token there and there. We are ravaging in the jungles. There's only 1 ravaging here. We're fine. Ravaging 4 here. Defend at 6. The Dahan retaliate and destroy both of them. So that's 2 fear. We're building. We're skipping land 2 as per the fear card, right? In land 4, we're building a city. In land 5, nothing. Land 7, nothing. We do an explore card. It's coastal lands. So the way coastal lands work, again, the escalator is pretty clear. We're going to add we're only adding towns to 2 of the 3 lands, and we get to choose which ones. I will obviously be adding a town to, we'll see what I can destroy here. I'm going to add a town to land 2. I'm going to add a town to land 3, and I'm going to add explorer to land 1. Invader cards advance. Now I'm going to do fire and flood. I'm going to do 8 damage in 1 land. I'm going to do 8 damage in 1 land, 4 damage in another. I'm going to do 8 damage in land 2. That's fine. So that's 5 fear. That's a fear card. And this comes down and another fear card. Terror level 2 now. And I'm going to do 4 damage in another land measured from here. It doesn't make sense for me to destroy a city when a city's just going to come back next turn when it builds. I'm just going to actually destroy 2 towns. Okay, so that's 2 fear. Fire Flood for the win. That, those go in here. That's done. We now go to growth. So ravaging here, but I'm pretty good everywhere else. But some kind of defense there would be helpful. I do have 2 fear cards, could almost get a 3rd. They're building, this building a city here isn't great. Nothing else. Oh, it would build it. No, this build would be prevented. Because it would build in 2 otherwise, because it's adjacent to a city. But it would be prevented by that disease. I think... Yeah, I'm going to gain a minor power. Do I want to gain a major? I'm going to get a bunch of money again. I'm going to get a major. Yeah, let me get a major. So I'm going to have to forget a card or not. So it's accelerated rot, 2 fear, 4 damage. If I have 3 3 sun, 2 water, and 3 earth, 5 damage, remove a blight. Manifest incarnation, 6 fear. The target land has to be a place where you have presence, and it has to have a city. 1 fear for each town or city for each of your presence in the target land, and for each of your presence in target land. Remove one city, 1 town, 1 explorer, then the invaders in target land ravage. Bargains of power. Remove 1 of your presence on the island from a game, setting it on the reminder card. From now on, each Dahan within 1 of your presence provides defend 1 in its land, and you gain 1 that's energy each turn. This effect stacks if used multiple times. Such an interesting card. So what happens is I put this out, I remove a blight, and there's a reminder card which I put out here. So now every round, it's like as long as my Dahan are between one away from my presence, so they would be basically providing defend 2 here, defend 2 here, defend 2 here, and that can keep stacking. If I play this card multiple times, well now it's each Dahan times the number of presence on the reminder card. So if I had 2 on the reminder card, it would be 4 defend here, right? But also getting less energy each turn, corresponding to how much how much presence on the card. It's a really, really interesting mechanic. And then finally, Vengeance of the Dead. I mean, this is a universally maligned card for obvious reasons. It's just not that helpful in most circumstances. So, yeah. Don't really love a lot of these. That extra defend might come in fairly huge though. I like its elements. I do like its elements. Could use this to defeat the city that's going to grow there. The ability to remove a blight's also helpful. Alright, I'm going to get accelerated rot. Just think that's the most helpful right now. So this, it's a major power. I'm going to forget Boon of Ancient Memories. I'm playing my cards next turn anyway. I'm going to get 3. So that was, I gained a power card. Now I get to put a presence on the board 2 away from where I have presence. I'll put this presence here. I gain 4 energy from the presence track. My 2 card plays are going to be Accelerated Rot and Study the Invader's Fears. So Accelerated Rot costs 4. I do have level 1 of Observe the Ever-Changing World, and I have Prepare 1 element. I'm going to take 2 Earth, and that's going to give me a Defend 3 here, and I'm just going to need to get a little bit of help from the fear cards, because this is ravaging 5 and I am not protected. But I don't know. I was hoping for a better defend card. I really had no way to manipulate those. If I was looking for a defend card, I probably should have gone minor power, to be real. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens here. So I'm going to play Study the Invader's Fears. That gives me 2 fear, which gives me a 3rd fear card. So I have a decent shot. I have a Sacred Place there. There's definitely some cards that will trigger an extra defend there for me. All right. So that was the end of the growth phase. We're going to go to the spirit phase. Again, there's no continuing effect from this Blighted Island card. Our event card is Blighted Island. On each board, add a blight to a land adjacent to a land with blighted spirits. May prevent this on any all boards by destroying 2 presents from each board to be protected. I will destroy the Sacred Place in land 7, which isn't... I'll take 1 presence from here and 1 from here. I'll destroy the Secret Place on line 2. I think that makes the most sense. All right. So I prevented the blight from spreading. Beast Prowl. Each beast generates 1 fear if invaders are present. There is 1 beast on the board. Invaders are present there. On each board, add a Dahan to an inland land with Dahan. All right. So the event card didn't help. Can I get at least defend 1 inland 4? Each player may release 1 town with an explorer and a coastal land. Sure. I wish that was in an inland land. On each board, remove a town. Yes, please. So that town's gone, so I am now defended. And retreat. Each player may push up to 3 explorers or towns from an inland land. I will push this explorer. Well, he's not doing. There's a disease there. I'm going to ignore that and not do that. There's no point. All right, we are ravaging in wetlands. Nothing, 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 and then we're defended 3, so that's good. We're building in coastal lands. We get a town here. So now that's only ravaging 7 next turn, which isn't terrible. We would build here because it's adjacent to a city, but I'm going to take away this disease, and we're going to build a city here. Now, note, I didn't, I could have moved this and prevented that build, but obviously I needed to make sure I didn't lose, so that's why I took the town from there when I had the opportunity. And now we go to our Explorer card. It is Wetlands, the accelerator. The escalation triggers, so I'm going to have to put a town in a land that has the fewest towns. That town is, that land, put a town in a land that has the fewest towns. I could put it on 5, sure. Right? What's realistic here? Realistically, I'm going for a Terror level 3 victory, so I'll just put it out there. And that would be fine. A land that doesn't have blight. Oh, then I have to explore into wetlands. Again, we're exploring with a town here and 1 explorer here. My turn, I can target a jungle or a wetland. I generate 2 fear. And I'm going to do 4 damage with accelerated rot. And I'm going to destroy this city. That goes away. 2 more fear. And that gives me another fear card. Time passes. That heals. Ravaging there, which would be a loss. That wouldn't be a loss. We got some dragon ravaging on the coast, so we got some issues. I'm going to reclaim my cards. I'm going to add a presence. I will add a presence from the... I'll unlock the reclaim in case I just want to take serious amounts of money here. And obviously, I don't think it's gonna. I'm not gonna have enough elements down here to really worry about the discarding 2 to get a 3rd card play anyway. So I'll stick with the top track. I'm gonna make a Sacred Place in land number 6. I have 2 cards. Now I cannot defend 6 there because that's blight. So that's a problem. Can I get... Oh, defend 10 would be nice. I don't know how I'm going to get all those earths, though. On the presence track, I'm going to get 4 energy before I forget. And I will have an element coming my way from that. So... cannot target that land. I get a bunch of Dahan in there. I can hope for something that like kind of adds to my defend. This is it. So I have that doesn't give me either of those though. My problem with Fire and Flood is I'm not unlocking the higher levels. If I'm not unlocking the higher levels, I might as well just play this. That's fine. So I'm going to play that for 4. I get to prepare an element. I'm going to prepare an earth, and that's going to give me... I'm preparing an element from the presence track, and then I have 1 earth and 1 sky. I'm going to get a 2nd earth and get to defend 3 there. I'm going to use shares of Secret Survival. I'm going to pull these Dahan in here and hope for some Dahan magic. All right. That is really the only thing that makes me lose. Obviously, if these individually blight as well, I also have a problem. But I can't, there's really no way. Well, if I don't try to do damage at all this turn, and I play this, that will take care of that issue. Yeah, that's fine. So I got the 1. So I would actually get another. Yeah, I'm going to play Trees, Radiate Celestial Brilliance. I'm going to defend 6. Make sure I don't lose because of those 2 issues. And they don't build there. They're not building there anyway. I can get 1 more element because I have the first level of Observe the Ever-Changing World now. That is fine. I will get I'll get a fire. All right. This is out. So it also generates 3 fear. So it will give me a second fear card, which is probably a smarter play. And again, I'm just hopefully if I can survive to next turn, I'll have a much better chance to do bulk damage across the board. All right. So we go to the spirit phase, the invader phase, Blighted Island. There was no continuing effect. We get this card. I mean, that's where that thing where I couldn't prevent putting that on the board is gross, because now it's like I literally 1 blight cascade, I'm done. So Remnants of a Spirit's Heart. A group of Dahan find a stony ridge with lingering blessings from an ancient mountain spirit. You may leave its strength with the Dahan, or with patient focus craft a great warding. Ugh. All right, so if I leave the strength of the blessings with the Dahan, who found it on the stony ridge, the Dahan have plus 10 health, but it lands with Dahan, invaders have plus 1 health this turn. If I spend 4, I can each defend from spirits is 4 lower than played this turn, right? Which is bad because that goes down to a 3. That goes for the 3 I put there is down to a 0, which basically, if I get defend 1 per Dahan from a fear card, I'm good. So I can't do that. But if I did do that, then I would have this where it's a defend 4 across the board in a future turn. It's really nice. It's just not going to work for me. So I am going to leave the strength to the Dahan. Invaders will have plus 1 health this turn. For each land with a beast and a city, generate a fear. So hunting parties and destroy a city and destroy a beast. So the jerks in the city went out and killed my beast. And then 1,000 more struggles on each board with 4 or more cities and towns. It is clearly mine, and 4 fewer Dahan. It is not mine. I can ignore that. Moment of Truth, level 2. Each player adds strife in a land with Dahan for the rest of this turn. Invaders have -1 health per strife. Oh, that did it. That's all I needed. We're good. It's only ravaging 4. That's nice. And here we go. Each player has a strife in a different land with at least 2 invaders, and each invader takes 1 damage per strife it has. And each invader takes 1 damage per strife it has. I will add the strife to that. So this would take a damage, and then this would take a damage. All right. I'm pretty sure that would involve, it's not going to matter this turn because I'm going to wipe them out, but I'm pretty sure that would involve all invaders everywhere without have strife. Whether or not I just put it on this turn or not, but I could be wrong about that. All right, so ravaging in coastal lands. It is ravaging 4. I'm defended 3. Dahan is not injured because Dahan had a +10 health because they found the thing in the Stony Ridge. Dahan retaliate. They're retaliating 8. Each invader has +1 health. So they're going to do 2 damage to each of these. So I guess it would matter. I'm pretty sure that each invader takes, each invader, right. So these take 2 to destroy each. This takes 3 to destroy. I already did 1 damage to this city because it had a strife. Oh, the strife went away during the ravage. Never mind. So this now has 4 health because of the event. Right, the strife went away during the ravage, but it still took the damage during the fear phase. Yeah, so it's still injured 1. I need 3 more damage to kill it. So 3 + 3 + 1 + 1. The 4 Dahan there managed to team up and wipe out all the ugliness that was land 1, and that's pretty awesome. That gives me 3 fear. It gives me another fear card. Terror level 3. Here we are. Cool. That's good. That's good. This comes away. Ravaging 2 in land 2. Blight. Fine. We are ravaging 2 in land 3. I'm glad I defended that. Dahan are there to defend. They're retaliating 4. This town has 3 health. That town is now dead. That's a fear. All right. This was done. Ravaging is done. We're building a town in land 5. We're building a city in land 2. Really? We're exploring a town into land 3, a town into land 2, a explorer into land 5, and explorer into land 8. Remember when this board started super clean? Yeah. I should have taken Cast out of the Bonnie Deep. But again, I thought this would be more fun, and it's kind of been more fun. It's just I don't think it's going to work out for us in the end. All right, this readies. What are they ravaging? All right, so we're ravaging 4 there. We're ravaging 2 there. My goal at this point is if I can knock off, I only got 3 cities left, right? So it seems doable. What's building a city? Would build a city there. Oh, and I'd build a city everywhere. So fire and flood is like a must. So let me think about my growth options here. Fire and flood is a must. I get to reclaim a card too. I'm gonna reclaim trees radiate celestial brilliance because that is a no-brainer. I'm going to, so I get a power card, that might be better. It's going to be hard to beat fire and flood. I'm getting 4 energy. I mean, I could just take 9 energy and call it a day because I don't think it makes sense for me to do anything else. Adding presence anywhere else doesn't really add up for me. Unless I'm hell-bent to try to get to discarding 2 element markers. I just don't see that happening, so I will just take, if I'm going to take 9 energy, do I want to take a card? 4 energy gets me from the presence track, would get me up to 10. 5 energy would get me up to 11. Advanced math for y'all. Oh, I can't defend 6 there, or there, because they both have blight. Wow. So I won't reclaim that because it's not helping me. I'll reclaim the other one. And I'm going to gain a power card. I'm going to gain a major. Bloodwreck Plague, add 2 disease for each disease in target land. Defend 1 in target land and all adjacent lands. That's got some potential. If I have 2 earth and 4 animal tags, that would be... So I'm actually going to take this presence off. So I'm going to take another energy here before I forget. If I have 2 beasts and 4 animal, I get 2 fear for each beast in target land. Do 1 damage to target or an adjacent land. Alright, that might have some potential. Unleash a torrent of self's own essence. Gain 4 energy. You may forget a power card to gain 4 more energy. Or I may pay X energy. Deal X damage in land at 0 away. Oh, I could wipe everything out there. That's probably a no-brainer. Indomitable Claim. Add 1 presence to a target land, even if you normally could not. Due to land type, defend 20. 3 fear for invaders are present. Invaders skip all action to target land this turn if you have 2 suns and 3 earth. And last but not least, Smothering Infestation. Add a disease if target land is a jungle or wetlands. 2 fear and 3 damage. If you have 2 wetlands and 2 plants, plus 1 damage to each invader. Those are some great cards. Unleash a Torrent's interesting, but the problem is Unleash a Torrent, it won't leave me the energy to play Fire and Blood. Fire and Flood. I think Indomitable Claim is kind of what I need here. And to play that with, and I will have just enough money to play them both by going up to 5 energy. So I do need to discard a card. I'll discard Boon of Ancient Memories. That's going to give me, again, I got the 5 energy from the presence track. I'm going to add a presence. Well, it doesn't matter now because I'm about to add another one. But I'll add this one here. All right. So I am going to, sorry, I just looked up a couple of things just to make sure I got the right thing. So yeah, this is, when you have any element, you can choose what element it is at any point during the turn. But once you choose, it's done for the turn. When the +1 element marker, it's just like you only gain energy during the spirit phase. You only prepare that 1 element marker during the spirit phase, right? So unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to prepare that element after I use Indomitable Claim in the fast power phase, if that makes sense. So that's going to be 7 energy for Fire and Flood. It's going to be 4 energy for Indomitable Claim. Awesome. Now I do get the I get the preparing element from there. I'm going to take a fire, and that's going to give me this. I'm doing no defense anywhere. I'm only getting 1 element. That's not good. Really want to get Fire and Flood out. Shoot. I don't think it's happening. That build's prevented. That build is not. That's a city. My problem is that Blades and Cascades, I lose that way too. If I don't get Fire and Flood out eventually, I'm just basically running out of time. If I prepped, neither of these have a moon, so I can't get Observe the Ever-Changing World. And now you see where Elemental Teachings, allowing you to prepare an element in the middle of the turn, might have actually come in fairly handy. But not getting up to here with the 3 card plays is also kind of working against me. I still think Indomitable Claim was the right play. But if I just pay and do 7 damage, then I can defend. Alright, Indomitable Claim is not going to do what I needed to, because I can't defend two things. So I'm going to put that back, and I will take, I've already, again, discarded the card. I'm going to take Unleash a Torrent of one's self-essence. And I'm going to spend at least, I'm going to want to spend 7 for that. And the presence that I put on the board here, I will put there instead. All right. I took a fire. So I'm going to rethink that. Yeah, then we're just going to buy my way out of this problem. All right. So I'm going to play Right at Land's Rejection. I'm going to say invaders do not build in this jungle. I'm going to generate 1 fear from that. I'm going to I get 1. I now have observed the ever-changing world, so I can prepare an element. I'm going to prepare a sky, and I'm going to, from the presence track, prepare an earth. I'm going to spend those immediately to get myself defend 3 and land 5. So it's ravaging 4 there. And then I'm going to, I do not have the right elements to unlock the higher level of this. I would have needed a sun. I only have 1 fear card, so I really can't risk it. But I'm going to, because otherwise I can gain 4 energy by forgetting a card. But I will spend 7 energy to do 7 damage in a lane where I have presence. So I'm going to knock out everything from that land 2, and that gives me another fear card. All right. Okay, getting there. 3 fear cards left. So again, a 4 fear comes down. I just saved myself the moving of tokens for no reason. So that is the spirit phase. We go to the invader phase. We go to stage 3. After advancing invader cards, invaders build in 1 terrain not shown under any invader action. If there's no such terrain, nothing happens. Each beast deals 2 damage. The beast we had on the board was destroyed by a hunting party. We're going to add a Dahan to a mountain or sands with Dahan. So I have only 1 mountain or sands with Dahan, so that Dahan has to go there. Fear cards. Terror level 3. Each player removes up to 5 health of invaders from a land with disease, or 1 explorer or town from an inland land. 5 health of invaders from a land with disease. Sure. I'll remove this 5 health worth of invaders. Right, it's kind of a no-brainer. Yay, disease. And then terror level 3. Each player replaces 1 explorer or town, 1 explorer or town with a Dahan in a land with Dahan. Oh, that's even more nuts. So I'll turn this town into a Dahan. Or adjacent to 3 or more Dahan. Oh, I didn't even read the rest of that. Forget that. Or replace 1 explorer town with a Dahan and a land with Dahan, or adjacent to 3 more Dahan. This is adjacent to 5 Dahan, so I'm going to turn that into a Dahan. Oh, that's great on so many levels. Because I've prevented the build of a city there, and then during Ravage is defended 3. Both those explorers are just going to go away. All right, so we are ravaging in wetlands. Nothing there to ravage. These both are going to ravage. Is defended 3. Dahan fight back. Those both are destroyed. We're not building here because of right of land's rejection, and then the disease just goes off there, and nothing to build in land 5. We do build a town in land 2 because it is adjacent to a city. Yay, Scotland. We're going to explore. We're exploring mountains. So we get a town here, an explorer here, and wetlands. We get a town here and an explorer here. And then we advance the invader cards. After advancing invader cards, because of fortification, they build in 1 land not shown under any invader action. And that is only going to be sands. And so we're going to build in land 4 and get ourselves a town. Now, paying attention to this, we are literally 10 fear away from winning this, or we just have to get rid of that city. and we will win that way. And that will be fairly easy to do because I'm going to reclaim a card. I'm going to reclaim Unleash. So we're in the growth phase. I'm going to reclaim a card. I'm going to reclaim Unleash a torrent of self-own essence. I mean, I could try to get cute with this. I don't really feel like it. So reclaiming this, my growth option, I'm going to take growth option number 4 and just get 9 energy. I'm going to get 5 energy from the presence track. So I have 1,000,000 energy. We're going to put that there. We're going to play, I don't know, Accelerated Rod, Study the Invaders. Oh, Study Accelerated Rod, so I can only have 2 card actions. So that costs 4. This costs 2. And I'm going to pay 5 energy to do 5 damage and land 4. Wipe out everything. Woo! Terror level 3 victory. Yeah, that was that was bananas. It would have been a lot easier, I think, if I took Cast Down into the Briny Deep. It just feels like a cheat code. In a way, this card late game is really nice. It's obviously perfect for shifting memory because you just have that built-in energy production plus that reclaim. Had I not had that ability to reclaim a card, I mean, again, all I had to do was find a way to destroy that city in the fast power phase. And yeah. Oh yeah, I could have done 1 damage per Dahan. I could have gathered 2. Would not have been easy. That is for sure. I had no fast powers dealing damage at all. Fire and Flood really just didn't work out the way I really hoped it would have. But if I gathered 2 Dahan there, then the city would have had 1 less. Yeah, that'd have been tough. That'd have been a tough. I mean, we have 4 Ravages. That'd have been really hard to survive without Unleash a Torrent of Self's Own Essence. The last fear card here is each player removes an invader from a land with 2 or fewer invaders. So I could have just removed the city with the fear card, assuming I survived the event card. Remove a beast, remove a wilds. Yeah, that's fine. I could have won on the fear with the fear card. Obviously, played some percentages with the fear cards and got lucky to get exactly what I needed. There is obviously a lot of some amount of luck with that, but there does come some level of just understanding what's in that deck and understanding that, hey, if I put 4 Dahan here, there's a good chance I'll be able to do something, right? And instead of getting a defend 1 per Dahan card, I just got, hey, put a Strife in a land with Dahan, so which worked out just as well. Shifting memory is a cool spirit. It does allow you to kind of dig through the major power deck in some cool ways and kind of get, to the cards that you want and Unleash a Torrent of Self's Own Essence obviously was the card this time. Had I got late game and I wanted Cast Down the Briny Deep, well, obviously that only works on a coastal land, so it wouldn't have been as useful late game. Early, I could have knocked out those 2 cities from land 2, but I chose to control the inland, and then obviously that Blight card made me put a city and town right back. So, and then had to just kind of rework my way up to a place that I was able to recontrol the island and kind of keep myself alive, just with enough to get that terror level 3 victory. So only 7 fear away. I don't think I even did the 3 fear from. Maybe I did. I would have. Yeah. So I think I did the 3 fear. So I would have had that. Oh, that was the fear card I think I pulled off. So maybe I wouldn't have had that. I don't know. Someone will have to tell me if they want to go back and see what I did 5 minutes ago. But cool. I excited about this one. Really excited to edit it up and kind of watch it because I'm sure I'll have some new thoughts and whatnot like I normally do when I'm editing these videos. We got Grinning Trickster coming up next. Understand that as a very strong one. I have only seen him played in person once by Steve. I spent most of the time super confused what the heck he was doing. I think I was playing lore, so I was like learning my own spirit at that time as well. So excited to get him to the table. and we will continue to march our way through these amazing spirits and finish off Jagged Earth, hopefully as strong as we've been going so far. Your likes, comments, corrections, epiphanies, all of it, I really appreciate it. Keep it coming. And again, you can go on my Patreon page and see what's coming up. I do have a public post, as you know, every month to let you know the schedule for the upcoming month, with a little bit of a sneak peek for the month that follows. So that is it. I hope you guys like this one. It's a good one. He's fun. It's a different way to play, but in definitely the best of ways. And just don't take him against Sweden anytime soon would be my my underlying recommendation. But if you choose to do that, God bless you. Good luck. And until next time, happy gaming.